It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
The year 2024, Steve, how many books did you end up reading?
Well, before we get into that, I'm just going to tell you it was a busy year. A lot going on.
Would you classify your 2024 as busier than 2023?
Oh boy, so much busier than 2023.
And Kyle.
So now that we've recapped how busy you were this year, how many books did you read in 2024?
0. I actually started reading a book.
Okay.
On New Year's Day, 2025.
Hey, so you were cooking.
No, 2025.
Oh, good. Sorry, you're off.
Now, here they are, two guys who are living in style, Steve and Kyle.
Yet to finish that book.
I was just about to ask. You had...
No, don't ask. Moving on. Anyway, what's next on the rundown?
You had imposed, not a deadline, but you had said, I know my therapist, which I think that's okay to say, right? We talked about openly.
Yeah, of course.
I know my therapist is going to ask me tomorrow at our session.
Uh-huh. She did.
If I've read or how much I've read. And you said you started it, which is already an improvement over 2024 where you didn't start it.
Yeah, I would say I'm roughly a third of the way through it.
So did she ask you how much progress you've made? Did you give a little deflection?
Dude, I felt like I was in college again. Where they're like, oh, well, the assignment was to read chapter 4 this week, and I referenced something that happened on the first page of chapter 4. They're like, yeah, of course, it's crazy that the blah blah blah.
Yeah, so you're telling me the U.S. made it, huh? We beat the Brits.
USA.
Again, in college, Steve learned about the Revolutionary War. I do feel, and I hate to get sidetracked already, but as we talk about...
We just started. We can't get sidetracked from anything.
I have to feel a touch responsible for the 2024 book reading adventure failure.
Really?
On your end, because I love reading.
Mm-hmm.
I love a paperback. I'll read on the Kindle, whatever.
Ugh.
And I feel like you're not a dumb man. So I'm not attributing...
Okay.
I can't attribute your failure of reading to the inability to read, because we know you can read, and 2, your interest in things, because you have a wide array of things that you're interested in. Just last week, you broke news that you're going to build a house this year.
In 1 year, mark my words.
There's nothing like setting yourself up for failure this early in the year.
I might have bitten off a little more than I can chew last week.
You get in the moment.
I was in the moment.
You lose. Again, the moment was self-imposed.
We were one-upping. We had just talked to, was it Jason?
Jason Santos?
Jason, who wants to become an airline pilot.
So you were you feeling a little bit well, now I'm a disappointment, right?
Yeah, now I'm not the main center of attention anymore. So look at me, Johnny House Builder over here.
So you waited, to one-up, you waited for Jason to get off the phone and then compete against yourself with a 10-year window and get that down to a 1 calendar year window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I feel responsible on the book reading failure, though, because I have a bookshelf full of books, different variety. I started to downsize because as we talk about moving, as we have a couple of years in a row now, talk about possible. Yeah. I don't want to box all these books up and have to take them to another house where I know I'm not going to read them again, because I like reading, but I like reading new things. I have that. I should have brought you some things that might have piqued your interest.
Oh, what do you got? You got anything?
Well, so that's the thing. I would have brought you a variety.
These picture books or got trucks in them?
There are pictures in it. I read the Bruce Springsteen autobiography last year, and that has, section with pictures in it. I could have brought that for you. That's a shared interest. Mm-hmm. I could have brought, kind of a standard, page-turning thriller, right?
Maybe a book about, mountains or something?
Okay. I don't know if that's going to pique your interest, because I don't... A book about mountains.
Log cabins? Maybe
Right.
a coffee table book about log cabins.
Oh, so you want a coffee table book now? Like one that's known for pictures and blurbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, look at this beautiful one in the hills of Vermont.
You know, I feel like maybe we should just go like raid Evelyn's book.
That's a book, right? I mean, that counts as a book.
We're past the deadline. Yeah, I'd count it. Did you read 4 coffee books last year? Coffee table books last year?
No, probably not. I mean, I'm just now realizing that I would really enjoy them.
Do you do that though? Like if you go to, if you're at a new person's house or someone you just met, whatever, a couple that you haven't been to their house for, like, hey, don't mind, we're gonna go get the charcuterie board and we'll bring it on in. And you see, you know, they got their nice living room coffee table. They've got some books, whether it be Bridges, Mountains.
This entire scenario is not something I don't
You don't think that's gonna happen?
I don't think I've ever done this. I've never gone to a new person who I just met. I never gone to their house and they
Waited for the charcuterie board.
waited for the charcuterie board. Maybe that's just me.
No.
It would be lovely. I love a good charcuterie board. Man, there's nothing better than like a little cracker, a little piece of cheese.
Well,
and, what kind of meat are we doing over here? Oh, is this a spreadable cheese or are we just doing slices?
You're obviously deprived because we still tell the tale of you annihilating the charcuterie at my wedding, and that was coming up on 10 years ago this year.
That was a charcuterie table.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a charcuterie board. That was just cheese as far as the eye can see.
Look, it was a year ago now. It was last winter. One of my wife's friends who lives in Washington, D.C., but will come home multiple times a year, had a like wine and something event that she does. And she goes and buys a bunch of wine and people, you know, will pour it in glasses and she'll tell you a little bit about the wine in the house. Listen, it's the most uppity I've ever been in my life.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You wear a fancy shirt and everything?
I think I had a collar.
Okay. All right.
And she had a legitimate charcuterie table. Like
Wow.
their entire 8-person dining table from left to right, all 8 feet, loaded with charcuterie.
Okay.
Okay. And I can only imagine, because I know how I felt, so I know what went through your mind 10 years ago at my wedding.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited, and I just do passive, because you don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, yeah, that guy over there, because it's a large group at this house.
Sure.
That guy over there, I've never seen him before, and he's really spending a lot of time at that table.
Well, the problem is I don't have a lot of self-control.
Yeah.
So when I find something good, I just want to keep eating it.
And it's cheese. And it's crackers.
I know.
And it's meat. And it's
they're
like,
all good.
yes. Because there's not a bad, well, I shouldn't say that. There's not many bad cheeses.
Not many. I don't think I've found one that I don't like yet.
Right.
There may be somewhere I'm like, that was good, but I'll eat it once.
Yeah. And if you're talking about charcuterie meat, there's nary a bad charcuterie meat.
Who would have thought that this podcast,
Are we charcuterie guys?
7 minutes in, I think we're now charcuterie guys.
I even know how to spell that too.
It's CHR cooterie.
Well, that has to be on the shirt tomorrow. CHR Cooterie. But like the base of the entire logo is a board of meat and cheese.
And yeah, the letters are cut out of cheese.
Of course. Beautiful.
CHR Cooterie.
You just mentioned, and this is a beautiful avenue into what I wanted to ask you, because 2 weeks ago you kind of snuck up on me with this revelation. But you just mentioned that you don't have a lot of self-control. Or maybe didn't used to have a lot of self-control. Maybe you'd classify yourself as improved in that area, since my wedding 10 years ago. So 2 weeks ago when you said that you had lost 11 pounds in 6 days, my immediate concern was for your well-being. Because as we age and
it's kind of quick,
as I have a little anxiety, I'm like, oh, good, he's got stage 3 cancer. Because I want stage 3, I think you could survive it.
Yeah.
Because if in my head I go stage 4,
and
I'm like, okay, podcast is ending. So then I have mixed emotions. Thank God.
Right. Yeah. Fulfilling your 2024 resolution. I mean, I guess technically you would be quitting.
That's right.
Although I would be quitting more at life, but it would be a
mixed bag.
Yeah, exactly. But we digress.
11 pounds in 6 days, 2 weeks ago, and you had said you were on the, I forget what was it called?
Ideal You.
Ideal You.
Ideal You is the diet. Yes.
And I've seen you down here with, a tub of water that you're lapping up like a horse.
Man, I am peeing every 10 minutes.
Right. That's why these podcasts are getting shorter and shorter, because Steve's got to pee every 10 minutes. So anybody upset that you're missing the 2-hour heydays of 2018, just blame Steve's bladder.
Gone forever.
They are gone forever. There's no question about that. So let me ask you now, 2 weeks removed from that, you mentioned there's phases to it. You get to a weight and then you start reintroducing.
Yep.
Are you reintroducing cheese and charcuterie yet?
Not yet. No,
Okay.
not yet. Once I get to my goal weight and I'm able to maintain that for probably a week or two, then I think I'll feel comfortable with changing phases and starting to reintroduce food.
So you're waiting to wrap up this episode so you can go upstairs and just shovel some oats and wash it down with lukewarm water for lunch. Okay.
Yeah. On a lettuce wrap though.
So you're in the miserable part of this portion yet, right?
I'm actually good though. I don't feel miserable. I definitely have times when I'm hungrier than others, but I feel like my body is adjusting well. And I was in Nashville for a couple of days, and that is traveling is a huge challenge when you're doing a very regimented food plan, meal plan.
Airports are not offering the, we'll charge you based on the weight of the shovel of oats that you're going to hammer into your mouth.
Right. In the lettuce wrap.
In the lettuce wrap. And then how long are you drinking from our water?
Yeah. No.
That's going to be like a fat burger place.
Yeah.
Or in Nashville.
Burgers.
Come here for our hot chicken.
Burgers, chicken. Yeah. I mean, it's all fast food.
Yeah.
But I was very happy. I was gone for about roughly 48 hours. And my goal was don't put on more than 2 pounds. And I actually managed to lose 0.2 pounds.
Beautiful.
So I essentially stayed even.
Just you and I, though.
Yeah.
You'd set that goal. Hey, no more than 2 pounds. Going to be gone for, 48 hours. You got home, though. You weighed yourself. You definitely waited before you got on that scale. Kids are in bed or whatever, went in the bathroom, locked the door, stripped fully naked. Because you didn't want the clothes adding to that weight, right?
Oh, every time I'm on the scale, I'm completely naked.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm doing, because, not because of anything other than I weigh myself first thing in the morning. As I'm getting into the shower, I step on the scale.
Got it. So are you always fully naked on the scale? That's on the pole.
You have to be. Clothes?
I don't think I ever have.
Clothes are at least a pound.
At least.
Pound or two. That's why I always, I feel like whenever I go to the doctor, the first thing they do, they bring you back, just step on the scale on your way back. So I take off my coat, I take off my shoes, and then I'm like, oh man, it's winter time. I have 2 layers here.
Yeah.
I got jeans. Jeans are heavy.
Yeah.
And I step on the scale. I'm like, but I was 3.5 pounds lighter this morning, I'll have you know.
You give the nurse you got a curtain I can wrap around this so I can go full nude? Let's get an accurate number on this while I'm here.
Yeah. This is a nice ballpark figure, nurse.
Yeah, hey, I don't mean to tell you how to do medicine, if that's what we're doing here. But I'm going to need...
Or whatever you call it.
But I'm going to need full disrobing to feel comfortable with this number on the scale. Okay, so a success. By all counts, a success
I was so happy
in Nashville.
Too. And I had one of the best meals I've ever had when we were there, too. We were. It was on Friday. We had finished the morning show. We had the night show later that night, but we had a couple hours to kill, and we were all just really hungry. So a couple of us decided to go to a barbecue place, which already is it's kind of dangerous, and found this one place. It was called Martin's in Nashville. So I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And went in there, and I'm looking at their menu, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll probably go with something chicken or maybe. And then I was scrolling down looking down, and I saw smoked wings. And I am normally when I do, I'm not a huge wing connoisseur,
right?
But when I do wings, I want them wet, and it's usually I'll go with I don't like anything hot really. I'm not a spicy person.
We're getting older.
I never have been though.
Okay, so you weren't 21 saying, "Let's go take the malt my nuts off my body heat challenge."
Yeah,
at the wing
the atomic face melter challenge. Yeah. No, never liked it. I'm sweet over savory every day.
Sure,
no matter what the food is. So they had smoked wings, and it was like a dry rub, and I did a dozen of those, and I was one bite into my first wing, and I looked up at the people I was sitting there with, and I said, I'm going to eat all 12 of these and probably then pick up all the bones a second time just to make sure I didn't miss any.
Whistle through them to make sure there's no chicken meat missing.
They were amazing.
Really?
They were so good, and I'm going to be chasing that high for the rest of my life.
Ringing endorsement from Martin's in Nashville.
I will never, I know for a fact I'll never be able to make anything as good as that, but they were so good.
And you know why you'll never be able to make anything like that?
Why's that?
Because you're not an idiot who smokes meat for 14 hours.
No.
Oh, you want wings that good? You just got to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and set the smoker to, butt roast. And then check it every 4 hours on your Wi-Fi thermometer to make sure the chicken doesn't get over 148 degrees. No, you're an idiot. No. Pay the $18 at the restaurant and be irritated about how much it is if you'd like and enjoy your food.
Oh, they were so good. And then I had like a side of green beans, which were fantastic. And I even had a hush puppy.
Really?
Had a little hush puppy.
So you did indulge.
I went off. I had a hush puppy. And then later that night, I had a chocolate chip cookie. So I went off diet a little bit and still maintained, and I was happy. I am about 10 and a half pounds from my goal weight right now.
I mean, when you think about skipping on the diet a little bit, a deep fried ball made out of batter is like pinnacle skip out on diet.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like deep fried cornbread.
Yeah. I also hesitate to call it a diet, and maybe that's just me because I don't get the impression that you one day woke up and looked in the mirror and said time to hit the diet, but you looked and you said, hey, I'd like to lose a few pounds.
Last couple months, especially the holidays, I was like, boy, I'm not comfortable. I want to be back in a more comfortable spot.
Yeah. Happens to everybody.
Plus I just want to be healthier.
Right. And
that's just a fact of life, especially as you get older and you have kids. You're like, I should probably be around for a little while.
And so your first step for that was to go and cancel your gym membership.
On New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be grouped in with those New Year, New You folks.
Can't be one of those idiots, because then the people who do go to the gym spend the next 2 weeks making passive-aggressive posts on social media about, sure, this newbie was in my way today on the weight press calf machine.
I was trying to do the glute master. Some idiot who still had their 2025 sunglasses on for New Year's Eve was standing in my way.
I'll put that on the poll. Someone always in your way on the glute master. But are you comfortable saying, you went to Nashville, you lost 0.2. Yep. Where are you at in comparison to where you want to be? And how long do you think?
10 pounds. I'm 10 pounds from where I want to be. And I would think that I could be there within 3 weeks. So I'm feeling...
And then the reintroduction.
Yeah. So then I just go back to eating candy 24/7.
Then you get to June and you're like, well, maybe I should go back to the gym. And...
Hey, if it happens, it happens.
That's it. Listen, it's beautiful. I'm proud of you. That's hard to do.
I was scrolling Instagram reels the other day, and I saw a guy. This is how I get dumb ideas. Like, I want to build a house this year. Yeah. I see a guy who he built an entire weight bench in his basement out of like 2x4s and stuff.
Hang on. So that interests you?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just go to our good friends at Amazon.com.
Okay.
And I'm just going to type in weight bench.
Yeah.
For home gym.
It wasn't a weight bench. It was the one. It was the one that you would do like leg curls on.
Yeah, it's got the thing underneath.
And also you could do it for like the tricep pull downs and everything.
Got just the thing.
Okay.
25,122 reviews. And 4.5 stars.
We got Bowflex or something.
No, it's you know how Amazon goes. It's
like Barflex.
Yes.
Barflix.
So you saw the Instagram video for the wooden the all wooden 2x4 weight bench.
Yeah.
Were the weights wood too?
They weren't.
Trashiest thing I've ever thought of in my life.
That'd be amazing though.
All in, did the video give an estimate of how much it cost him to make it? And two,
I think
how much do you think you could do it for if you had to go to the lumber store today?
Well, I think he said he already had all the free weights.
So the non-wooden.
Yeah, and a lot of the lumber was just stuff that he had laying around from like after he built his deck or something.
So we've got lay around lumber and leftover free weights.
Yeah, I think he said he had spent like $80.
Okay. What do you think you could do it for today then if you went to, lumber store, got that stuff, and then had to go buy, some weights?
Weights. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably $200 in, right? At least.
But it's all wood, looks great.
Yeah.
Practical.
Once I give up on this dream, I can
burn it,
turn it into something. Yeah, build a shelf or something. Bonfire.
For the low price of $129.99.
Whoa!
You could have a weight bench. Today
with weights.
TBD.
I could have it today.
Sorry, no, it did change it tomorrow. Yeah, it must be after a certain time of day. But yeah, you could have it tomorrow, January 27th, for $129.99.
Boy, that's tempting.
That's literally the first answer when I typed in weight bench for home gym.
You want to go halves on this?
No, not at all.
We could be swole by spring. We could go on spring break.
I told you I want to walk. That's the extent of the exercise I want. My goal this year, as laid out in the New Year's resolution episode, was to run 1.5 miles without stopping. Does that tell you the type of shape I'm shooting for?
I mean, why not undersell and overdeliver? That's all I'm saying.
Steve, D-Day is nearly here.
D-Day? Uh-oh.
Not our grandfather's D-Day. Would it be great-grandfather's D-Day at this point? Are we a grandfather?
Well, no, because it's my grandfather.
My
grandfather would be my
was in
child's great-grandfather's D-Day.
Okay, because my grandfather was in the Korean conflict, but probably just short of.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're right on the
cusp.
Hold on,
let's reset. Well, it's our child's grandfather's D-Day.
That's right. It's our child's children's great-great-grandfather's D-Day, Steve. It's almost here.
Yep.
We haven't talked about this in a while, and so you have no idea what I'm about to ask you.
Mm-mm.
Because we talked about it, and then I think the conclusion of it was a bit of a letdown because it went so well for me, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
The last I had checked in with you was supposed to be a big spring for you guys. And I'm not talking about your new house building dream. I'm not talking about your new house.
But by spring, I better have a foundation poured.
Better have property.
Solid point.
I would argue step one, inhibitor number one to the house building dream within a year is the fact that you don't have land to build a house
place to buy a house or a place to build a house.
Because as you talked about when you built the warehouse, is that Johnny Inspector came by and said, you can have the warehouse, but you can't even have your shed if you have the warehouse.
By the way, we're breaking the law this year. We're getting a shed. We need a shed. If we're getting rid of the sunroom, the decrepit sunroom falling apart.
Oh, come on. You got plenty of room in the warehouse.
No, I'm not going to sully it with furniture.
So a rock climbing wall.
That doesn't take up any space.
That's true. The idea of chairs stacked up in a far back corner next to, you'd have to walk past the transmission in the snow.
Which you finally got a chance. We'll have to get back to that. But yes. You finally saw the inside of the warehouse
and the outside again with the transmission in the snow.
Yeah, no joke.
But the chairs in the back corner would be sullying the warehouse.
No, don't like it. Don't like it at all. Can't do that.
It was about this time last year that I started planning for September.
Yeah, that's right.
My family's trip to Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And I was so...
No, I see where this is going.
I was so caught up in all of that and the execution of it that, again, it went great. It did. We had a lovely trip.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about it with a couple of friends yesterday when we were talking about Disney last year, and they asked how did Reed like it. I said, we just got super lucky.
Mm-hmm.
He's an emotional kid who rides high. He rides low. He has some tantrums, not unlike many other kids. We escaped that week pretty much unscathed.
That's great.
No meltdowns.
That is a lottery win right there.
Absolutely. And especially as you know from Hobie in Florida, and you've been there multiple times, Steve, the weather that time of year in Florida, you're going to get torrential downpour. It's going to stop. So we had the face-to-face sit down before we got there. When we got there, said, hey, there's going to be rain down here, bud.
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about it.
Yep.
It's just a little wet. We'll go inside. It'll be done before you know it. We're not going to let it ruin anything.
Well, plus there's a million things to do there.
And it went flawless. But that's not the point here. Because I started this last year with 8 months kind of headway. Nobody has to do that, by the way. That's a little bit of my middle-age anxiety that got the better of me and never have gone there.
Well, especially if it's something that, like you guys aren't a Disney family. Like there are plenty of people that, like I know plenty of people. A friend of the show, Leanne.
Yes.
They go to Disney every year, sometimes multiple times a year. So they could probably fly a little bit more by the seat of their pants because they know it so well. But like I think you said that you plan on going there one time and that's it. So make it count while you're there. And I wish I could lean more in that direction.
Yeah. It was great. We enjoyed it. As a 6-year-old who's not a Disney kid, he loved it. He loved meeting the characters, all of that stuff. I had 8 months to plan this, booked a few things here and there, planned in whatever. Yeah. Now, you've gone a few times to single parks, right?
Yes.
That we talked about that when you've gone in the spring to visit your dad down in perfect time of year to go, by the way.
Yeah.
Going to Florida.
I don't think I've ever tried to do multiple parks in the same day.
Boy, and I know people do it without issue.
Oof.
But with kids, I think it's a different animal.
Yeah.
Young kids, I should say. If you have a 14-year-old, one, they probably don't want to be there anyway. But two, it's a little easier to navigate because they're not going to lose stamina so quick. But you had mentioned that you thought maybe this year would be your equivalent of, quote unquote, the big one or a big one. So I've neglected, probably narcissism, in asking a follow-up to you where we are today, because I'm looking at that calendar. And as of this week, we're in February.
Yeah.
That's 6 weeks away. Oh man, are you typing in Disney World? DisneyWorld.com?
I'm actually just sending a text to Annette.
Oh yeah, family issues, I get it.
Did we plan on going to Disney in 6 weeks?
Okay. So what you're telling me is that where you're at right now is where you were at probably 6 to 8 months ago, you think?
No, it would seem like we're actually further away.
What if she replies right now like, oh crap, I forgot to.
Or if she replied like, yeah, it's been booked for 8 months, and then I could be like, oh, sweet.
Because I think we need to start navigating your out now that I know this.
Okay.
Do you think Evelyn would believe Disney World burned down?
You're not going to believe this.
Just turn on the news of the LA wildfires. Be like, wait a minute, I think...
Is that Mickey?
That's Cinderella's castle. It's gone. For God's sake, it's gone, Evelyn.
I mean, that would be pretty cruel.
But listen, young enough. We talk about it with kids, right? They're real dumb.
Yeah.
She's not going to remember that when she's 15, right?
No.
You don't think she's going to be going in high school? Like, yeah, we're going to... Wait a minute. What do you mean you guys are going to Disney? My dad told me 8 years ago it burned down. He pointed at Cinderella's castle on the TV, and it tipped over like the spire from when Notre Dame was on fire, and it fell into the smoke.
Yep. Yeah.
So this has kind of caught you by surprise today that I mentioned it. Not the trip to Florida, because you guys... Are you still planning on doing that this...
Hold on, I'm pulling up our calendar right now.
So you don't even know the Florida...
I got to make sure that... Let's see, what are we talking? March here?
Boy, I am so glad you have a wife. Or anybody, I should say, who can like kind of keep this on the straight and narrow for you.
Okay, hold on. Looking at March. Okay, I don't see anything there.
So I just want just a broad...
Hold on. I just got to go to the next week. Maybe we put it down. Put it down there. Okay.
So, flight 7:30 a.m. GRR to MCO, or maybe it's like SFB.
You know, might have to get back to you.
On if you're flying in 6 weeks?
Oh.
With your family?
Figured it out.
Okay. Found the flight on there?
We're not going
Oh,
to Disney.
okay.
Now I do remember.
Okay, so the Florida trip is still a go.
Florida trip. Well, no. No.
Okay.
Florida trip is not still a go.
Got it.
We decided that we are going to go to Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, okay. A lovely
Savannah,
city.
Georgia. I've never been there. I've heard wonderful things. My wife kept seeing like Instagram posts about Savannah and how great Savannah is, and Savannah this, Savannah that. And so we decided to go to Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an airline credit from, I think it was back during COVID, when a flight got canceled or delayed or something.
Yeah.
So we had like a $600 travel credit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dang, that's great. I kept forgetting about it. And then we were finally at the point where we had to book by a certain day, or else those credits expired and went away.
Got it.
And it was literally the day before they expired that we finally sat down and were like,
where are we going?
what should we do with these? And she brought up Savannah. We looked up a bunch of stuff. We're like, well, that looks amazing. And so for like a 4-day weekend in March, we're dropping the kids off at the in-laws' house.
Got it.
And we are taking a mom and dad trip to Savannah.
Boy,
And I can't wait.
Let me think about this out loud for a second.
Okay.
Because I want to be in the room, or at least like a fly on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, they're kids. You know, brain power is what it is for a kid, right?
Yeah, of course.
So maybe she doesn't remember, or probably doesn't know that it was initially talked about that Florida was happening.
No clue. No.
Because
we have.
I'm imagining I'm going to come over. She's going to have her Mickey Sunnies on.
Right.
You know, a tank top,
Right.
Crocs. And she's gonna have her little roller bag next to her and say, "Mom and Dad are taking me
I'm packed.
taking me to Disney." And you're gonna say, "No, I'm so sorry. It's March and we're taking you to Northern Michigan."
No, we have always been very careful
Yeah.
to not say, like, we always just refer to it generically, like, hey, maybe the next time we're here we can do this. But we have been very careful not to say, when we're there next March.
Yes.
So they're not expecting anything. And to be honest, my kids love going to their grandparents' house so much because kids aren't smart.
Well, kids like going anywhere.
Kids love going places.
Like, it doesn't really matter.
Knowing that they'll never know that there was a chance that it could be Florida Disney World.
Right. Until, eventually she listens to this podcast and says, great.
Honey, very sorry. Just wasn't in the cards in 2025.
Just keep listening, because when you get to the episodes from 2026,
yeah, maybe,
right? And we had the week-long extravaganza to Disney and Universal.
Do you think we could go there and like do the podcast live from Disney? I mean, I know we could, but do you think they would welcome us and like set us up somewhere prominent?
I don't even know if they would let us record audio.
That's a good point.
No, they would, because there's an entire community of like Disney vloggers.
Yeah.
Right? And they're semi niche famous. Like, I bet if you texted Leanne right now and said, "Who's your favorite Disney vlogger?" she would have one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Me, no thanks. Not interested in those people who go to Disney all the time just to tell me about, well, they moved the queue for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad to the left. Ah, who'd have guessed?
And it's a line, okay? It's not a queue.
Honestly, we're not in England. We won.
Yeah.
We won the war.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
Steve found out about it in college, as we found out.
Ooh, Stonehenge. Whoa, look at me. The bobbies.
I'm happy for you. This
I
sounds
can't
like
wait.
it's going to be a great trip.
It's going to be a fun trip.
Let me ask you another thing then about, because we talked last week about my trip to the Royal Rumble. Spoiler alert, we're recording this before I've gone to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
You
So
do a little
stay
bit.
tuned next week for the big recap.
I'm going to have so many pictures of that ramp. I swear to God.
Can you post some from the event?
Yes. Yes. Maybe I can do if we can time it out and the audio doesn't sound atrocious, maybe we can do like a audio check-in with you if you're around.
Okay.
And I can give you a call. You can record a call from me live from the ramp, and I can give you a in-person detailed breakdown of that ramp.
That needs to happen.
How do you handle as a parent? This is a bit of a change of the dial here as we talk about your upcoming vacation. I get a little bit of negative feeling even going away to Indianapolis for the Royal Rumble. I'm going to be gone for whatever it is, 30 hours, right? And that's, I'm leaving Saturday, coming home Sunday, late morning, early afternoon. Yep. And I already feel guilty about not being with the kids. I'm doing a trip without the kids, or in my case, with just Reed. Do you get that? Or are you just more like, because right now it's different. Right now you're a little bit excited, right? Because, oh my God, it's a vacation with my wife. It's going to be amazing. Because it is.
I mean, I think like anyone, it's both. I'm super excited, but I'm also like, but I'm going to miss my kids. But it kind of goes through stages. Like I'll be excited when we drop them off, and then it's just me and Annette, and we're like, all right, let's go to the airport. Then I'm excited. But then when I'm on the plane, I'm like looking through pictures, and I see pictures of my kids, and I'm like, I miss them. I wish they were coming with us. And then it's usually the last day of the trip where I'm really like, I just want to get home. I want to see them. That's all I care about.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Because I think we may have even spoke about this before. I am a self-recognized bad vacationer.
Thinking about like the last day or two.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not even like grumpy about having to go home.
Yeah.
It's mixed emotions because I'm on vacation. I should be enjoying every second of this vacation. Why am I thinking about wanting to go home or being home?
Right.
Or what I have to do when I go home. And it's only exacerbated when it's a trip with just me and a friend or just me and Katie.
Sure. Because
then you're like, okay, now I'm ready.
Right.
Can I switch my flight to come home 12 hours? What's the point of staying an extra night?
Right.
Maybe I can just get home late.
Yeah.
And then we can pick them up earlier tomorrow type of thing. And I hate that.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like
terrible.
That too. I'm totally like that. And I remember being like that when I was a kid too.
Oh, so you were like 8 going to Outer Banks or going to the,
I do. Yeah. I remember that like being at my grandparents' house, and I would be like, oh man, well, we're leaving in 3 days. So maybe I'll start. Like I've just always been like trying to prep in advance for things like, oh, well, I'll put all this stuff away so I don't have to do it at the last minute. And I wish I could just enjoy myself. I think the only time I really did that was on our honeymoon.
Oh, man. When was that?
That was in 2017 into 2018.
Was that just down to you went to like
North
Carolina?
No. We went to Sandals, Ocho Rios in Jamaica, which, as you remember, it's on the northern coast.
And that's, as we all know, 8 Rioses.
All 8 of the Rioses in full view. Loved it.
Did it cross your mind? Because when you came home from the 8 Rioses.
Now, granted, we didn't have kids at the time, so it was much different.
Well, yeah, it was romance abound.
Yeah.
Garage door openers.
Right. Nose hair trimmer. And
still my favorite tale. That's not true, but it's still my favorite tale that I somehow concocted into the myth. Is that you guys were in your honeymoon suite.
Yeah.
And you were, screaming across the room if she wanted a genie.
Or a Chamberlain.
Like she would have an opinion.
Yeah.
But when you came home from that, you were a transformed vacationer, if I could describe it as an outsider. Yeah. You were already talking about going back.
Yeah.
Said you wanted to make it a thing, like your place you could go. You haven't been back since. Obviously things change, family, kids, work, yada yada, right?
Yep.
So now you're doing 4 days in Savannah. Is that like are you on the step ladder?
We definitely want to do whether it's Ocho Rios again or Jamaica or whatever. Okay. We definitely want to do like the Sandals all-inclusive resort again.
You don't want to go down to the Seis Rioses.
No.
No. Everybody says you go to Seis Rios and you're asking to lose a kidney.
That's where you go to die.
Yep.
Seis Rioses. You go there to die.
It's on the board.
Now, I think we want to do, for our 10th anniversary, we want to do a trip. Now, you got your 10th anniversary coming up just months from now, right? Yeah. What do you think about?
I'm glad you brought it up.
What do you think about Ocho Rios? I could tell you some people that you got to talk to.
Do I need a passport?
I could tell you. Yes.
Nope.
Okay.
Mine expired.
I mean, you could get it renewed.
Go to Walgreens for that and get a picture taken.
No, I think you just have to. If you already had one, you just go online and you tell them you want it renewed, and then.
What if it's been expired for like 12 years?
might be a little more difficult.
You don't think they'll just
Go to the
accept?
post office. Talk to your boys in blue there.
The beauty about the post office is that I bought an oversized mailbox, so I don't have to go anymore. I can just pick it up out of the box.
Got it.
Beautiful. You brought up 10-year anniversary. I mean, listen,
We're
like the big Disney trip of 2025 that never was for you guys. You gave yourself plenty of notice, though. Like you were talking about it last year, it just didn't come to fruition. This year.
we're staring down the barrel though. We're at we're 7+ years at this point.
So you've got 2+ years.
Yeah.
So
It'll probably be at this point in 2 years that we will start planning that trip.
Right.
We've also talked about a cruise though too.
Okay. So we got to narrow that down first.
Yeah.
You got to get that house built.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a busy couple years coming up. Probably not going to have a lot of time to read. Not a lot of books getting read.
So the 2024 resolution still off the table.
Yeah. And it's not looking good for 2025 or 2026 either. Talk to me when I'm on the honeymoon. I might be able to knock out a book. Or not the honeymoon, the anniversary trip.
10-year anniversary. So you're willing to say that your next 2 years in possible 10-year anniversary planning are going to force you out on books for those?
Yeah, I can't commit. I can't commit to something that big. I'm building a house.
You got a house built. Yeah, obviously. The only book you're going to be reading is This Old House.
Is How to Build a House. Right. Jesus, what do you want from me?
I stand impressed that you... Well, not impressed that you had no idea that you weren't doing the Disney trip any further. That's quite an astonishing thing that
It did kind of take my breath away when you brought it up the first time.
6 weeks away, and you're finding out you're going on vacation to Georgia.
You want to go? You want to go to Savannah?
Savannah is not on my list of places to go.
It wasn't on my list of places to go either. I looked up a couple of pictures of it. Looks nice.
And I'm glad
they got some nice trees down there.
I'm excited for you guys to go as a couple, because my question for you when you mentioned Savannah was going to be, what the hell are your kids going to do?
Yeah.
Because Savannah's a pretty distinct... It is a vacation tourist town.
Yeah.
But it's not a, like, bring the kids to a vacation town.
There's not water parks and amusement parks and things and tourist attraction.
It's like, isn't it old houses?
It's a very old, very old city.
What's that sign mean? That was a slave plantation, Evelyn.
Yeah,
That is, what was that? And then you get to go through 1820 through 1865.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it because this will be one of those relaxing and eat good meals vacations, not the exciting, constant, we're going on an excursion vacation. So
can you do me a favor on this vacation? It's 6 weeks. We got time. I'll remind you.
Yeah. What do you got?
Just need one favor from you. I don't want you to weigh yourself before and after.
Impossible.
Right before and after. I want you to give yourself.
I am at a point in my life right now that I am so fully committed to this diet that I weigh myself pre and post going to the bathroom just so I can see how much I peed. Okay. I had a 2-pound pee the other day. That's impressive.
Romance is never dead. I was just trying to give you a little bit of grace on either end of this so that you don't spend your time in Savannah worried about it. And then the few days, I'm just asking for maybe 48 hours upon your return home.
Okay, maybe 3 days before and 3 days after, I'll kind of ease off the weigh-ins. Maybe I won't do at least pre and post bathroom weigh-ins.
I'm a gentle arbiter of these decisions, though. So I will allow you one post-pee weigh in Savannah.
Oh, no, I'm not bringing the scale to Savannah with me.
I didn't know if the Airbnb would have one, maybe.
I don't know. No interest.
Is one post-pee weigh in a gentle arbiter?
In Savannah. You got to put it in Savannah. It's got to be clear. All right. At Stephen Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm not sure what we have next week, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
The Ramp, baby.
Oh, the ramp, of course.
What was it? I think Jim Harbaugh or whatever it was way back at Michigan and Ohio State. The game.
Mm-hmm. The ramp. We'll try to do a check-in with you from the event.
I think we'll have to figure out a way where I can maybe get a bit of silence among 65,000 people.
No. I don't think you... I think that it needs to be with full chaos as the timer is counting down, so you can yell and tell me that Barney Baloney is walking to the ring.
I think that's got to be my new wrestler name. Barney Baloney merch coming soon.
Okay.
CHR Cootery merch coming soon.
All right. At Stephen Kyle on social media. We'll talk to you next week.
See ya.